Well, I think maybe we should go ahead and get started. Maybe this isn't going to be a hugely attended meeting because it's the end of the year. But we do have a lot to cover and people might be jumping on throughout the call. I wish there were more people here because we were going to review the budget first and get approval for that. But I think we should, well, here they come.
We can talk about awesome Oakwood tennis.
Yeah. Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Was it quite a match?
I'll tell you, if they would play today, that would have flipped. You know, those guys have been beating each other up all season long, and
Wow.
and they're friends, and that's what's really cool about all of it. I mean, the sportsmanship, the cheering, everybody was enjoying the match. It was really high level tennis. So everyone's going down to Mason next Thursday to the big tennis complex. So
Wow.
it'll be cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
I'm just catching all the people coming on as well. So
Mhm. Okay, well, I think we'll just go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the final PTO meeting of the year. I can't believe it went by really fast. I feel like everything's going at lightning speed since COVID just kind of started to slow down. But welcome. And I think we're going to go ahead and jump in with the budget. We're going to review this year's current budget, most up to date, and then the one that we have proposed for next year because we need to get approval from you all. So Theo's going to handle that. And Theo, I'm here if you need any.
yeah, thank you.
Or anything like that. Yep.
I'm pinch hitting for Kelly right now on the current May budget, and it looks like we are going to be coming in right where we needed to be. We did have the donations from Dorothy Lane, Kroger, and Amazon Smiles. I don't know if this has been covered before, but Dorothy Lane Market is going to be capping their donations to us to be fair to a lot of different organizations. So we can't count on that for anymore for the year, but the PTO did provide some additional money for the teachers grant to help with some picnic tables. And I know Darcy can speak to some of that. And then there are a few other action items, a few other asks that the PTO will be working with on that, but it seems like we have a healthy balance to carry forward into the next year. And if we don't earn a cent, we will be able to be functional for next year, but we'll touch the budget for the proposed budget for next year. But are there any questions on the May budget? Okay, right on. So the PTO executive committee met and a few different Zoom calls, and we are projecting next year on the income for the 22-23 proposed budget that membership, Dorothy Lane Market, Kroger Cards, and Amazon Smiles, we will come in with a total income of $16,250. And there were we wiggled things around. It seems like post-COVID, you know, we've had a few different things that might have changed a little bit. And in addition, we've had quite a few parents that have been generous and bring in water, bring in, you know, donations for different teacher meals or whatnot. So all in all, it hasn't changed much but just a few little things have wiggled around. President's Fund, Teacher Grant, Freshman Challenge, all the hospitality, the junior high awards, Success Breakfast, Career Day, Career Hospitality, Senior Breakfast, and keeping going down the teacher appreciation, the staff fall luncheon and the holiday luncheon are two big items on our list. Then we have the monthly appreciation, conference dinners, curriculum night, And then the directory fees to print and distribute, or not distribute, but to print them and to keep an online directory. Parent fall coffee, and there was a tiny little bump for taxes and expenses to mail all that in. And then the miscellaneous after prom, Acorn, Muse, Twig, Girl Talk, Men's Breakfast, and Senior Banners. And again, if things do not get exhausted on the proposed budget, for example, our curriculum night was due to snow this year. So those dollars were allocated towards some of the extra teacher grant money. So that being said, it's hopefully we sell those directories and get this money in so we can do all the fun stuff that we want to do. Are there any questions on that? All right, Darcy, you want to make a motion or?
Yes, yeah, let's go ahead and make a motion to approve the budget for next year. Does anybody want to?
Emma, why don't you do it? Emma's raising her hand.
Second? Lori Flanders.
motion to
Oh, you,
approve the budget.
okay.
Okay,
And then Lori seconded it.
right. And I am going to be the treasurer next year, and my first order of action is going to make sure we have big font. I can't read small font, so.
I love it. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Theo.
And if people have any questions along the way, I'll just do my best. So, okay.
Great job. Thank you, Theo.
All right. Thank you.
The next thing we're going to cover is we're going to be giving the Bev Johnson Volunteer Award. And we always give that to somebody from the PTO who has served Oakwood incredibly with their heart and their time. And this year we're giving it to Stephanie Guillen, who is here with us. So I'm going to go ahead and just read you a quick list to summarize all that Stephanie has given the Oakwood community since she started volunteering many years ago. And this is her last year in the school system. She did monthly teacher appreciation for 4 years, the holiday luncheon for about 8 years. And she's an amazing chef and offered all of her creativity in everything she did. She chaired the senior breakfast. She was the chair of hospitality for 2 years, the PTO vice president, PTO president, speech and debate parent president for 3 years, speech judge for 5 years, state tournament speech judge. Stephanie, I think you could be the president of the United States, just saying. Football cheer banquet chair, football cheer picnic chair, Harmon homeroom parent 6 or 7 times, Harmon nights, 6th grade recognition, 6th grade dance co-chair, after prom committee, water polo parent, senior night chair and banquet chair for 5 years, senior breakfast again, and then she was the PTO special ed rep for a number of years as well. So we have this beautiful award made by Lulabelle for you, Stephanie, that I will be dropping off at your house. And we just really want to honor you and thank you so, so much for all of your service. So if everybody could just give her a thumbs up or some applause.
Great job, Stephanie. Thank you.
Yes, we
Thank you,
can't hear
Stephanie.
you. Stephanie, you're on mute.
I thought
There
I
you are.
unmuted. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You can tell I didn't really volunteer much during the Zoom era. 'Cause, no, I'm not very good on Zoom, but I just want to say thank you to everyone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna cry. But it's really been a joy, and I can't believe it's over. So
You've been
just
just.
thank you all for the opportunity, and I really do love the Oakwood school system, and it's just been a wonderful part of our lives for 20 something years, I guess. I know I've been in the junior high school building for almost 15 years. I mean, with my kids, but so yeah, it's been really great, and carry on, all of you. And Bev Johnson, who this award was named after, she this is just kind of a funny story, but she handmade, she was a wonderful seamstress, and she made these tablecloths a long time ago, kind of for the PTO, but she added to them, and they've taken on a life of their own. And she moved to California, but she bequeathed them to Jennifer Almany to hold them. And as Jennifer says, they need to have their own Instagram account because they're still being used. Bev is still giving back to Oakwood schools in that way. And, you know, I hope that I can do something too to just keep promoting and celebrating Oakwood schools. So thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it.
Well, you already are, Stephanie. I mean, just your spirit, your memory, everything that you've done, the standards that you set for our kids and for the way that you served, you've been just really incredible for all of us, even those of us who didn't know you that well.
Thank
So
you.
thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Darcy, I would say too, for Stephanie actually began the Bev Johnson Volunteer Award.
Oh, I did
That
not know
was
that.
her idea many
Not
years
for
ago.
myself.
She left that part out.
So that's really special that PTO chose her. And also, Stephanie, if you would like to become the tablecloth scheduler, I would welcome that because they have generally a very busy spring.
Okay. Okay. I will take them on. I'll take them on. They're in my garage right now. So
I know.
we used
I
them
know.
for speech and debate a couple weeks ago.
There
So
you go.
yeah,
Awesome.
I'll do that. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie.
And one thing I didn't have when I first started was my readers. So all of you, when you are leaving the schools, you might have these too.
Yeah,
Now I can see everybody. Okay.
there you go. Well, have a beautiful day. Thanks again for joining
Thank
us
you.
and making the time to be here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, Elvis.
I heard about that. That's great. All right, well, let's move on to our admin reports. And I see here that I did not write down Kelly Owens or Tracy Hale. I apologize. So we can, tag that on after Tim gives his report. But Kyle, why don't you go ahead and let us know what's going on with the district?
Sure. Lots of things. And Stephanie, just let me add my congratulations to everything you've done. And I know our girls went to school together, and we've been around, and but I haven't been near or volunteered near as much as you did throughout the process, but you've been tremendous throughout your career, and thank you. Thank you for everything you've done.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So I saw the agenda is pretty long, so mine's relatively short here. We got a couple of new hires that I wanted to make sure everybody knew about. We have a new athletic director and director of student services, and that's Tyler Rodis. Tyler's coming to us, man. You've probably seen the release, but what a neat guy. Very young children, just a wonderful family man, and I think he's going to fit in very, very nicely with our athletic program and with our administrative team. So we're excited about having Tyler. We're also excited about having a new special ed coordinator and Lang School principal, and that's Suzanne Batten. And she's coming to us from Troutwood, where she is now. She was at Bethel before that. She worked for Miami County. And Frank's going to leave some huge shoes to fill. But Suzanne, I think, is up for the task. And Tyler, I forgot to mention, he's currently at Dixie High School as their AD. So he knows the swivel and the league. And he also is their dean of students. And he also is their baseball coach there. So he brings an interesting background, and two little ones and one on the way. So they were at the board meeting the other night. It was pretty special. So the only other thing I wanted to mention, and there are a couple of parts to this I want to just hit the high points on, is the article in the Register last Wednesday, and then the article in the Register yesterday brought up a few things I just want to touch base on. And as always, if you have questions, you reach out to me, reach out to the principals. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have. But the idea of families leaving and moving, or a mass exodus, which is simply not true. We track students and families as they move in and move out. We have some families who are moving out for lots of reasons and different things, and it may be those reasons that were quoted or that are reported. And we have a lot of families who move in for some of those same reasons. So we have families move to Centerville and move back from Centerville, or move to Oakwood from there. This year seems to be about the same. Actually, we've had more enrollments this year than a typical year. And we've had, I think last time we checked, which was a few weeks ago, we had 40 new students since January move into the district. And we know that we're going to have some move out for a variety of reasons. And we track that over the years. And it's amazing how relatively steady those are. We get plus or minus 150, 160 students in, and 150, 160 moving out. And we track where they're going and what they do. And this year is not unusual. So I just mentioned that to you. It's also, there was a question in and around special ed. And for those of you that have been around, and Stephanie, I know you know this well, back 9 years ago, we didn't have a special ed coordinator or a supervisor. We also didn't have a Lang principal, and we didn't have a supervisor of preschool. And that was one of the things when I moved into this position. I looked around, and Dr. Lang was actually doing Lang school, which was confusing to the kindergartners. Lang and Lang, it threw them off a little bit. And Allison Couch's position was Pam Wyrock when she was here, and she was doing special ed as an extra. And what we needed was expertise and dedication in that area. And so we were able to find somebody to do pretty much 75% special ed and 25% Lang, depending on the day and what went on with that. And with the size of our students and the complexity and the team of intervention specialists and psychs and occupational therapists and so on, that works. It works well for our district, and we continually evaluate that, pay attention to that. And so I know that's a question. It's been a question for some time. And when we hired Suzanne, we looked at very specifically, do we need to have a full-time person in that job? And based on what we know and based on what we've been doing, it's not appropriate at this time. It may be in the future, but it's not now. So I just touch base on special ed. And the last, which is volunteers, which is, I'm preaching to the choir here, but the idea of how much we value volunteers and allowing parents into the buildings and getting them involved, you're huge. You're a huge part of what we do. We couldn't be as successful, and our students wouldn't have the opportunities that they have without our volunteers and without parents and without that partnership. And so now, don't get me wrong, a couple of years ago, just over 2 years ago, we intentionally kind of closed the doors and with the COVID, and we've been intentionally and deliberately moving back to bringing more and more people into the buildings after prom and getting to see Elvis. Those things happened over the weekend, or the concerts, or the PTO helping come in with teacher appreciations, or all of those things. That we're continuing to move back in that direction. We're not quite back to normal. And the junior high and the high school have been a step ahead of the elementaries. Part of that had to do with vaccinations and the ability to move, and part of it's just little ones, and part of it's the training, and there are lots of reasons for that. But our intent is to move back to whatever normal is. I'm not sure what normal is, but move back there in the fall for sure. And between now and the end of the school year, there are lots of opportunities to get into the buildings and to volunteer, whether it's set up for the Grand Affair or for the arts program over at Smith, or whatever that may be. So I just touch base on those three main components of the article. And some of that was captured in yesterday's article, but not very well, but I just share that with you as a perspective and letting you know that we haven't lost our minds and we're not keeping people out or doing anything like that. So I just share that with you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Kyle.
Darcy.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to Dr. Waller.
Okay, thank you. And again, I want to just echo what everybody's been saying about Stephanie. She's been amazing and really a partner all these years. And I hope I still see her pretty often, but thank you, Stephanie, for everything. Want to thank our PTO for all the wonderful treats and things for teacher appreciation. We all felt very appreciated. So that was awesome. And we really, that really makes a difference. So thank you so much. And like Dr. Ramey said, we want you in the building as much as possible. As you move on to secondary, it's becoming, it always is a little more challenging to get parents in your building, but I always try to remind everybody that teenagers' frontal lobes aren't developed yet, and we need as many developed frontal lobes as we can. So help us out. We welcome you guys here to help us out. After prom was amazing. Prom ended up being great. We had a little over 340 students at prom, which I think is the most we've had since I've been here. And then after prom, and the kids didn't even, they don't really, I think maybe they don't know what after prom was. So that was kind of cool.
Mhm.
And they really had a blast. I know Stephanie O'Hara kind of led that whole charge, but she had so many people helping her out and so many parents that chipped in, and it was really, really pretty amazing. And the kids stayed all the way till a little past 2 o'clock getting all their prizes. And it's just cool to see the parents all dressed up and the dealers and everybody was just, we had a blast. So thank you. And I think the whole idea is that the parents are putting this thing on for our students to keep them safe. And that is what's really nice about after prom. So thank you for everybody that volunteered and helped with that. We have a lot of things going on right now. You can probably see behind me, there's a paper on the wall with a bunch of really bad handwriting. And that's kind of like, okay, so now we were doing that every year for the past few years because everything was different. So we wanted to make sure we all knew what we were doing. And now we're trying to go back to mostly normal. So now, we've got people like Mrs. Peters, my new administrative assistant. She hasn't really been through a normal year yet. So now we got to make sure we're all on the same page with that. So a lot of cool things coming down the road. We got daytime awards. Those are on May 19th. So 9th and 10th graders will start at 8:30 and 11th and 12th graders will start at 1:30. Parents are welcome to come to those daytime awards. If your son or daughter is getting any kind of a major award, the people giving that award should be notifying you of that. But, if your son or daughter's on honor roll, that will be recognized during that time. So that's a lot of students. So you're welcome if you want to come and see that. And then we have our parade that's going to be taking place on June 3rd, our graduation parade. That's a lineup at 6 o'clock down at Lane Stadium, and then the parade starts at 7. We bumped it a little bit later because we have some kids that are in the state track meet on that day, and that'll give them time to get back and get lined up in the parade. So we kind of made it an hour later but maybe that'll be a better time anyways. We'll still, that'll be all kind of starting at Lane and going down Schaefer and going past all the graduation signs that'll be out there. So all that stuff's going to be taking place, and we'll publish the parade route so everybody has that. That's coming out soon. Graduations at University of Dayton at 7 o'clock. on June 7th. And that's where we had graduation last year, except this year, and it was great, but this year we won't have any limits or tickets or anything like that. So you can come and bring as many people as you want. And parking is free, big giant parking lot there, park anywhere. Come on in, it's gonna be great. A little bit coming more to this weekend, we have a wellness resource fair. That's going to be from 12 to 3 out back by the junior high doors. And also some things going in one of the courtyards right there off of the hallway. So, mental health and Amy Samoski and Bridget Fiore and Amy Ostick are all kind of working together. And so if you want to stop by on Sunday, that will be going on. There should be a lot of resources there. We just had a senior parent meeting. I think that was a week or two ago, and we had like a lot of people show up for that Zoom meeting where we went over all the dates and everything. But if anybody has any questions, they can go on our website and they can find the link to that video and they can watch that whole video, anytime. And it has all this information in there. So encourage people to do that too if they have questions. And there's also a 2022 class, graduating class tab on the website as well. So has all these upcoming dates and everything, so you can stay up with what's going on. And Tracy has that on there. So you can get all that information, and you can also just contact us anytime you want. So I think that takes care of my updates. Thank you very much.
Dr. Waller, really quick question. I'm taking the notes for the meeting. I apologize, I missed it. You said the daytime awards, the 9th and 10th graders were at 8:30, and then the 11th and 12th were at what time, please?
They're at 1:30.
1:30. Thank you.
Yep, in the auditorium.
Auditorium.
You've got a lot going on, Dr. Waller.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Can I ask a quick question? I was going to wait until later, but since you're talking about graduation, have the seniors already received their caps and gowns?
No, they have not received their caps and gowns. Let me look at my thing back here. Those will get passed out. I want to say
May 24th.
There you go, May 24th.
Got my sheet right here.
Got it. Okay. So they'll get those on May 24th. We pass them out here in the senior hallway under the clock. And
Okay.
Also just a reminder, if anybody has any fees, to get those paid so that they don't, because if they don't have their fees paid, we will kind of hold on to their graduation gown until we get those fees. But if they have any financial issues, don't let that get in the way of getting your robe. So all they do have to do is let us know, and we'll work with them on that.
Okay.
But yeah, get there. And we went over, we're going to have another mandatory senior meeting next week to kind of go over all this again with the seniors to make sure everybody knows what's going on as we get closer.
Okay. And is that meeting for the parents and kids, or just the seniors?
This one's just for the seniors. Yep.
Okay. And I don't have a senior this year. I've had some questions. There seems to be confusion around the caps and gowns. I had someone asking if their daughter is still wearing white, their son, there seems to be some confusion around that.
So this year, typically we have white gowns that the girls wear and blue gowns that the boys wear. Although we do have kids that don't identify that way, and they may pick a different color gown, and we don't, and that's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
So going forward though, I'm trying to figure out where the questions are coming from all of a sudden. It must be from the younger classes. Has something been decided going forward?
So not this grad, well, there's been kids in this class too, and it's been coming up for a couple of years. Some kids, and we've been discussing the idea of, just maybe having one color or gowns that are made up of a couple colors, like a gold and blue or something like that, so that it doesn't even, people don't have to choose. It just makes it easier and everybody has the same color gown on. So that might be where you're getting the questions.
So do the girls still have the choice then going forward to wear white if they choose to? I think was the big question.
If we go with one gown color, it'll just be everybody has the same, it'll be just one color. It won't be a choice. No, it'll be like UD when I graduated. It'll be like, here's your gown.
Okay, and but you don't know what that gown will be yet going forward?
We don't know what that'll be. We want to get some input from the students on that. So we don't know what that'll be. It may be navy blue with some gold. It could be, we'll have to look at that.
Okay, and then the last question about the gowns would be, did the senior class this year vote on that?
So the senior class this year we didn't really vote, but they've given us input. I mean, over the years it's come up but this year there were seniors involved in the process, but we couldn't even think about making a change this year because that's something you have to decide pretty far in advance so that we can actually plan for what people need to order. And with the shipping and everything from China, where some of these things come from, even if we did switch, there was a chance you wouldn't get the new gowns in time for graduation. So this class, we stayed with what we've always done.
Okay, I think the question was just who made the decision to change the gowns going forward?
Yeah, well, the decision would be, I mean, really, we never give this, we kind of say, here's what we're doing for graduation, but we wanted to get input from them on what would be the best thing for them. And there's pluses and minuses. I mean, the main goal we want is the kids to graduate. And it's going to be a wonderful graduation, no matter what color their gowns are. But if it's causing some people to be unhappy or stressed or difficult situations, I think that's what we're trying to avoid. And it's something that's come up, over the years. And so it's something we're looking at it. Ultimately, I think it's going to end up being probably my decision to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. But obviously, if somebody wants to overrule me, they can. But, we're always going to do what we think is best for students.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Can I just piggyback on that? Dr. Waller, do you think that because it's such a rich tradition in Oakwood that parent involvement would be considered, or do you really think that's just more of a school administration type of issue?
I mean, I'm welcome to hear anything any parents have to say on it. I mean, I always welcome input on that.
Mhm. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Lori.
Or I have a question about something to do with graduation that's new that I don't know about. We got an email saying to sign up for a processional video. Can you tell me what that is?
So, yeah, this is one of the things we added on with the pandemic because we were not allowed to process into UD. We had to start out in our seats, and we did a processional video where the kids walked out of the front of the building with their caps and gowns on.
Okay.
So we're kind of keeping that. We're going to play that at some point because the kids had a lot of fun doing it.
Okay.
So that's what that is.
Okay.
And they wear their cap and gown, and they'll come out with another student, and they kind of walk out of the main steps of the high school and then past the flagpole, but they kind of go right by the camera so they get to wave or pose or whatever they want to do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Waller.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and now we'll hear from Mr. Badenhop from the junior high.
Well, thank you. And I'd like to start as Paul and as Kyle did, thanking Stephanie. I think when we first met during my first year in Oakwood a long, long time ago, we're not maybe as long ago as some of the others, but it's just been a pleasure to work with you and get to know Annie and get to know your family a little bit. So thank you. And also, I think Darcy, you've flown a little bit under the radar in this meeting, but I think this might be your last PTO meeting too. Is that right?
Maybe, yeah.
So I wanted to, take a
Still have
chance
some
to
things
thank
to do
you.
over the summer, but thank you, Tim. I appreciate it.
Just for leading through this particular year and everything from Zoom calls. And I've been working really closely with Darcy over the past couple of weeks on something that I'll talk about in a second. But it's just been really a pleasure to get to work with both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will start actually, since we were talking about some of the traditions and the, I guess, debate of what to keep and what to change and things like that. We've had some things that have had to change from the pandemic over the past couple of years. And some of those, the feedback we've gotten initially, I'll use the example of the junior high awards. This year, we're keeping those virtual. We've done that the last 2 years because that's the only way we could do it. And honestly, a lot of the feedback I got from families was, although there is the component of having your child on stage and being in front of people, families have appreciated the convenience of having that award show be kind of what you can watch when it works for your family's schedule. And looking at this year in particular, the night we happen to schedule it is the same as the celebration of the arts and the same as the grand affair at Harmon. So we would need to plan better than that next year. But I'll also want to get parent feedback on what are your preferences. And I think I'll do that via a survey, but is the convenience of the virtual enough to outweigh the idea of it being in person on an evening in May? One obstacle we've had in the past has been it's really hot and we didn't have air conditioning, but now we do have air conditioning in the auditorium. And that's a lot nicer of a space this time of year. So I think of the awards. I think of this year how open house worked at the junior high. I think of I've had questions about success breakfast versus success lunch. And I guess I have my opinions on all those things and kind of my leanings of what we would change and what we would keep. But I'd like to get the input from families too about how does it work for your schedule? What would be the most meaningful thing for your child? Because you know your children the best. So I would look for that to come out in the links either to end this year or to start next year so that we can plan for those sorts of things. The success breakfast was, it was awesome to be able to have it again in person and just to have the participation. I see Allison Sylvain on the call, Chris Huffman. They really helped coordinate that, worked with Mrs. Rockner to make that a great event. And we had kind of a small but mighty crew of students. And it's, if you haven't been to the success breakfast, kids can't earn their way there by a certain GPA or a certain specific achievement. They're really recognized for the people they are, and it's a really special event. There were several occasions of tears being shed during that breakfast on Wednesday, and it's just a really special thing to be able to have it again. So I thank the PTO for your partnership in making that happen. The next partnership I think we have upcoming is the Timber Junior High Challenge, which is going to be that last half day. And I thank the PTO for your support in making sure that we can make that a really meaningful and memorable day for students. Things we've included in the past will be able to continue, but then we're adding this year an inflatable obstacle course that students will be able to run through with their team. We're actually adding a kind of a behavioral incentive plan throughout this month, where we'll have drawings starting tomorrow for students who've been recognized or caught doing something great by their teachers, excuse me. And we'll have drawings from among everyone who has gotten one of those tickets, and they can also earn, the drawings will be for gift cards, which Darcy brought in. So they can earn a gift card and they earn points for their team toward that junior high challenge day, where the winning team from that day earns a pizza party the following week, following Memorial Day. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I've already heard stories of how the 8th grade teams are preparing to dominate one another. One neat component, because of how we've structured Timber this year, is that we will pair an 8th grade team and a 7th grade team together in each case. And there'll be 10 total teams kind of competing for that, the victory, the bragging rights, and the pizza party. But I think it's going to be really a fun month and kind of a fun way to cap that last week in the last half-day professional development day. It has been, as Paul referenced, it's been a very busy time. We had our first junior high dance in a couple of years back in April. And, thank you to the parents who braved that as chaperones, because it's really these students' first opportunity to have an indoor dance at the junior high. We have the awards show that I mentioned coming up next Thursday night. We have concerts for band, orchestra, and choir coming up. Just a lot of great opportunities for our students. And we've also been able to bring back, this Monday, we hosted the 6th graders from Harmon and kind of got them a little bit of opportunity to get in the building. We changed how we've done that in the past too. We asked the teachers their current teachers if they could gather questions for us the students have. So rather than us kind of coming in with a presentation of here's what you need to know, we asked them, hey, what do you want to know? And we involved our Hope Squad students who had attended Harmon to be the people kind of leading the answers to those questions. And then we did a tour of the building so they can kind of have a little bit of an idea of what they'll be doing next year. We'll host Smith this coming Monday, just that worked better for the Smith teachers planning. So it's just nice to be able to do some of those things again. And then also I wanted to recognize our junior high lacrosse. We had a team finish second in the state in our division, which is really impressive. They had their tournament last weekend. And then we have 7 students traveling to the state track and field meet this coming weekend. So we've had some junior high students. Hit all the things list. I actually have this really colorful questions list from our color coding for when the 6th grade students came over. And I almost forgot to mention them, even though I use their list as my list. So it's always neat what questions they ask, but we look forward to just being able to bring back a lot of those opportunities for kids to come in and feel a little bit more comfortable before they start junior high and before orientation in the fall.
Thank you so much, Tim. It sounds like things are starting to come back to somewhat of normalcy, and that the kids are able to kind of bond and connect as a grade, and that's really exciting, especially at those ages.
Yeah, I do like to joke
Really
anytime someone says normal in the same sentence with
Yeah.
junior high, I pause there a little bit, but
Yeah,
it is getting back to being able to have a lot of those opportunities again.
yeah. Let's say normal developmental things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Tim. Okay, and now let's move on to Kelly Owens.
Hi, everybody. Stephanie, congratulations. I've been here with you, I think, through the whole time you've been here. So it'll be really weird not to see you. So congratulations, my friend. I am going to throw this over to Dr. Waller. I failed to remind him to talk about an upcoming event. So he's going to share with you some information, and then I'll come back on the other side.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so basically, on May 20th, I forgot to mention that we have our junior experience. I don't know if you guys remember, we do our freshman challenge, and one of the things the kids have been saying is, can we do this again later on in our high school career? So that's something we've been talking about for quite a while, and then the Alumni Association was going to kind of spearhead that, and we were a day before putting on the junior experience, and the pandemic hit in 2019, so we didn't do it. So we are going to do it on May 20th of this month. It's going to be an all-day deal. We'll have breakout sessions. It's kind of like, hey, you're getting ready to turn 18, going on to your college or career, and here's some things you probably need to know about that. Some legal advice, some financial advice. Then we're also going to be doing some team building. We'll have a college panel there. We'll have somebody from Miami University talking about student loans and debt. We'll have a lawyer here talking about, making good decisions and, trying to avoid getting yourself into trouble, because everything's different when you're 18. So, and then some financial advice as well. We'll have people along those lines. We'll have a special guest speaker at the end of the day, very famous person. And we will, so it'll just be a great day. We'll feed the kids lunch. And so it's the first one we're doing. So we just kind of figured that we didn't have enough going on in May. So like, hey, let's do something else. So actually really is good timing for the kids. AP exams are done and that kind of thing. So just wanted to put that on your radar that's happening.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. And I sit in his office where all of those white pieces of paper are hung on there. And a teacher who their name doesn't even appear on there said, this is so stress and anxiety inducing. Like, your name's not even on there, dude. But anyway, there is a lot going on, but we have very good leadership and a lot of people who just jump right in. So I just, from what we've been experiencing the last couple of weeks, AP testing is finishing up this week. That's always a busy time. And Mrs. Lumpkins does a really phenomenal job of getting that all organized, coordinated, making sure we have the proctors that we need and the kids are in the right, testing exams and communicating all of that out. So that's finishing up. Hoping that we'll have a master schedule built maybe by this time next week. And the kids, as we've done the last few years, the high school kids will have their schedules before they leave here. So we are in the process of working on all of that and really getting the scholarship, the nighttime awards for the seniors, getting that program all put together, which means putting together all of the, finishing up all the scholarship meetings and figuring out who those recipients are going to be and coordinating all of that, that information for the program. And Tracy Hale is an integral part of all of that. She puts the program together, the technology piece. So I've been working pretty closely with her and she's guiding me along with what she needs for me. So we are doing that. That is May 31st. That will be available on YouTube. This just came where we kept it virtual this year, had a lot of positive feedback about that. There are pluses and minuses to everything, but overwhelmingly had positive feedback about the senior awards night being done. It's a busy time of year, as we've alluded to a couple times. And, that parents can sit and watch it when they want. And grandma, if she's in Florida, can watch it, or, an aunt or an uncle out in Colorado. So it's kind of nice to have it that way. So we're putting all that together. So that will be available May 31st. Tracy, you can tell me, I think it's 6:30 or 7. And then of course it'll, people can go back and watch it at their own leisure. So, and then after that, it's graduation and sending them on their way and getting ready for the next year. There's a lot of getting ready for the next year before this year ends. So, but we're hanging in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Tracy Hale?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so in the world of communications, we will be sending out reminders for all families to just update their final forms accounts. Of course, you can always do that if you get a new email or a phone number, or there's a change in, address or what have you, emergency contact. The wonderful thing about final forms is that parents can do that whenever. It's not just one day at the beginning of the year and then the information isn't right. So, but we'll be sending out a reminder about that. I know everyone else has said it, but please check the calendars because there are lots of events on the junior high and the high school calendars that are there. And again, as Paul mentioned, the class of 2022 and each of the classes at the high school have their own page, and all of the key dates for seniors are right at the top of the page. And then that senior family meeting is right under it. If you want to review, if you weren't there, if you want to watch it, it's all there. The links and the high school newsletter have amazing open rates. We know that more than 60% of families most weeks are looking at those newsletters and getting information, which is great. The average for school emails is less than 20%. So we know lots of people are seeing things. If someone's having trouble receiving emails, what typically happens is our system sends it. And if your mailbox has any problems, it's full or your server is down or whatever, it will send it 3 times. And once it's sent it 3 times and it's been rejected, you are suppressed. You are moved off our system. But we can click a button and put you back on. We just need to know that you want to be back on. Because some people just ask to unsubscribe. So we don't want to just go through and turn everyone back on if someone has chosen to stop receiving something. I'm going to be evaluating some other options with our communications plan. Messages is what we use to send all of those newsletters. And if you have younger students, we are using them preschool through the 6th grade, get them from a teacher every week. Some of our junior high and high school teachers are going to be looking at ways to do that. Also, messages as a system is adding some new components that would be similar to a one call, and we'll have text options. So it would allow us to put a message one place and go out 3 different ways. So that has not gone live. They're just in the beta testing. So I'm going to be doing some training with that and looking at those options. So we may be asking you how you would like to get your information as well, and what is the easiest way, and giving people a chance to sign up for all of them, one of them, however they would most like to receive that information. As Paul mentioned, we are doing the processional video. It was a lot of fun shooting it last year and the kids liked it. Just please, 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 if you have a senior, make sure they are signing up for it, because we need to get everybody scheduled and get that taken care of. It is in their Google Classroom. And in fact, I moved it to the top of their Google Classroom yesterday.
All right. Thank you for that reminder to remind my son. Appreciate it. Thank you, Tracy. And next we have committee reports. I kind of feel like we've already touched on after prom, the success breakfast, and teacher appreciation. Stephanie did send me a message that after prom was just incredible. It was, the kids stayed up until 2 o'clock and just had an absolute blast. I know that my son had a fantastic time. I wanted to let you know that we're still working on filling some positions for the PTO for next year. We have a lot of positions filled. We're really excited about some new people joining us, but if anybody's interested or knows anybody who would like to be interested in helping out, have them contact me. And Jennifer, I thought maybe you'd want to give an update on grants.
Sure. Yeah. So we've had, as all things, we've had a couple of years of our grants process being interrupted last year, in that we ended up just using all of our money to provide microphones to all the teachers. And this year, I think just the year started slowly. And so we didn't have a lot of teachers asking for grants. So we were able to extend our grants process this year. We have a budget of $7,000. So approximately, these are the things we've spent money on. We gave around $500 for the engineering department to enter those students into the AIA engineering tournament. We gave $150 to the senior high DI team going to globals. We gave around $2,000 to the special ed department on vocational packages, which are packages that come together where students are able to practice tasks that they might practice in a job situation. So it could be like bagging groceries or sorting of some sort within a business. So that's what those are. We've spent about $2,200 on 2 new 3D printers for the engineering department. And then with the extra money from grants plus surplus money from the PTO, we have granted 3 picnic tables, which are the exact same picnic tables as what the PTO provided for the space that's outside of the teacher workroom when we redid that. So we purchased 3 more picnic tables to go into the science outdoor learning area where the greenhouse is that they've been revamping. And that took all of our grant money plus money from the PTO surplus. So that's really exciting. So we were able to supply quite a bit. And I couldn't believe it, but those picnic tables had more than doubled in cost since we bought them last, along with everything else. So that was nuts. But I think, I don't know what colors they decided on, Dr. Waller, but.
Yeah, I think we went the more neutral route.
Oh, did you? But that's kind of, that'll be fun. So teachers will be able to use that space as an outdoor classroom, because those picnic tables will hold, I mean, there's like 20, that's enough for like 24 kids to sit. So that's great. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Jennifer. And then the upcoming PTO sponsored activities that we have are the junior high challenge day and the senior breakfast. And those are the only outstanding things that we have coming up. I know we're really running out of time, but I did want to give people a chance. If they had any questions that they wanted to ask, now would be the time. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just wanted to give a very small report about the special ed liaison, my position. The first thing is at prom, I don't know for sure, but it might have been a record number of kids from my daughter's class, from the special ed class. This is like not just LD, but like multi-handicapped. They had 4 kids go to prom, and at least 2 of those 4 went to after prom. And at prom, they did all sit together, but nobody asked anybody to sit with them or anything like that. But there was a group of typical kids who chose to engage and go sit with them. And that was just so very heartwarming. So I just wanted to share that. And also that the Inez Marsberg is going to be the special ed liaison next year. And she's a wonderful, warm, very idea-driven person. And I think she'll just do a fabulous job. So her son, Ian, is in my daughter's class. And so that will be really cool to have just some fresh ideas. And then the other thing is, just for anyone who knows anyone in special ed, my daughter Annie will be going to a program next year at Wright State called Project Life, that you can kind of spread the word about. It's a new program. It's really only it'll be in its 3rd year, but with COVID, it'll really be, the first, it'll be the first really good year that it's fully operational and everything. But it's a life skills and work experience program that's housed at Wright State, kind of run by Greene County, but other school districts are allowed to have applicants. So if anyone knows anybody, just promote it. And Project Search is no longer, which is a previous program similar that was at Miami Valley South Hospital. But I think this one is it's more multidimensional, and I think it'll be great. So that's my report.
Really
My final
exciting for
report.
Annie. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Uh-huh.
Anybody else have anything before we wrap up?
I probably
Okay.
have one question real quick.
Uh-huh.
I'm just curious, Kyle, is there any construction going on at the junior high or senior high this summer?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. I didn't see anything about it either, but I also thought maybe I missed something and I just wanted to ask.
No, we're still trying to get the old system, talk to the new systems, talk to the newer system. Pretty much the work we're in right now. Paul, can you think of anything going on in the building this summer? No. Okay,
Thanks.
sure.
Okay, any last minute questions? Go
I
ahead.
just have a quick question. And this may be more for you, Dr. Ramey. After the grading scale changed last July, when that was voted on, there was talk of a professional learning committee that was coming together to keep up the conversation of fair and accurate grading. And I just wondered if where that was in the process.
I think there was a small group that were looking at that. I haven't had an update or even know that they're still meeting right now, Jennifer. That's what I know about that.
Okay, anything else?
I had one other question that I'm sure has come up before. So those of you who have been around are probably like, oh, here it comes again. But it's about transportation for the athletic events. So I apologize if this has been talked about before, but my daughters have had the privilege of playing on the lacrosse teams this spring. I have one a sophomore and a 7th grader. And it's been, unfortunately, it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience, great coaches, but unfortunately very difficult to find drivers. And so we've been told several times we'll have to cancel games. It's an expectation for parents to step up. If you play sports in Oakwood, absolutely to chip in a variety of ways, and a big part of that is driving. And so if you don't sign up, we're going to have to cancel games and let the refs know, and I need drivers. On 2 occasions in the junior high lacrosse, at the very last minute, the girls were told, we don't have drivers. A few parents signed up, but not enough. And so I can't remember the time, maybe it was just a couple hours before, but you know what? Everyone's on their own. So it has left parents scrambling and girls scrambling to try to find rides. And many, I don't know how many of you are familiar with lacrosse, but many of the away games are in Cincinnati. So it's a lot of, traffic, and I can understand that parents have a hard time. And then I also think my heart kind of goes out to the families who are not in a situation to be able to help, whether it's both parents are working very tough jobs, maybe there's a foster family, maybe it's a single working or single family or single household with one parent. Maybe it's someone who is battling a medical situation and they're not able to step up and help out. So I guess I just, in this time of being more focused on being inclusive and equity, I guess I wanted to just make you aware, because I'm not, we're here to kind of share the parent experience and the student experience and see if perhaps we could look at adding some transportation for some sporting events over the next couple of years.
Who would like to respond? Kyle?
Sure. And we've all been part of it. And those of us that have had kids, it's not a new thing, but I think it's something we need to continue to look at. Absolutely, Emma. And those kind of situations we don't want any of those. Obviously, where families are put in that situation, or kids end up not being able to play or participate. And I know we've looked at it before, and we need to continue to look at it. I don't have any answers short of a fleet of buses, and then that. And one of the latest things, very quickly, we looked at contracting with Kettering or with Centerville to be able to do those after school trips. And it's just not feasible. They don't have the drivers to be able to do that work. They're struggling. You could work as a substitute bus driver or a full-time bus driver in any district. So that was our last good idea. And that was, I'll say 18 months, 2 years ago that we looked at that really hard. So, but I'll put it on the list of things, especially to talk to our new athletic director about, certainly before. Paul, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe it's something the new athletic director could tackle.
Yeah. I think that, it's a challenge, especially for big sports like lacrosse, where you have high numbers and a lot of equipment, track, cross country. It is a challenge. And like Dr. Ramey said, we've had committees look at it. I know that Laura's tried to get more and more coaches certified to drive Suburbans so that they can drive as well as parents. So we're always looking at ways to help that whole situation out. but we don't want to make parents feel like, oh, if we don't get a driver, we're going to cancel a game and that kind of stuff either. So it's tough. I mean, my 7th grader played baseball, and it just worked out that we all, it worked out with drivers, you know what I mean? But I know sometimes that's not the case. And it makes it stressful on parents because they don't know if their kid's going to get to the bus or get to the Suburban or who's driving and, all that. So yes, that's something that has been a plus and a minus for our district for a long time. There's a lot of pluses to it, but then there's minuses to it. So I'm sure that that's something we'll continue to look at.
Thank you.
Wonder if it's something that the boosters could look at.
Yeah, and I want to say the coach has been great. It's been a great experience, except for that, and that's not on the coaches, right? That's just kind of the way it is. But yeah.
Well, thanks for bringing it
Continue
to
look
our
at it, and I
attention.
know you all always.
Sorry, Emma, you keep breaking up, so I think you're done, and then I jump in and I'm talking over you. I apologize.
I'm sorry. I'm good. Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Okay, well, lots of good things that we were able to discuss today. So thank you, everybody, so much for your time. And I hope the end of the year goes well for everyone here. And it's been a pleasure being with you guys and learning so much about the schools and everything. I've really enjoyed being here. So thank you all very much.
Great job, Darcy. Thanks to everybody.
Yes.
Have a
Thank you.
great day, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Darcy.
Yeah.